everybody, it's Angel from Halo Inspirations. We give you inspirations to help you spread beauty and joy through your quilting journey. I'm so glad y'all stopped by the channel today. It's so nice to see you again. This video is demonstrating how to do some quilting with a walking foot using some easy stitches. And I'm even going to demonstrate one of the decorative stitches on your machine that you may or may not have. So some of the things that you will need are definitely some thread. Now I typically quilt with and piece with Aurifil thread. Today I'm using a different thread. I'm not sure of the brand, but I've had it for a while, so I'm trying to get through it before it goes bad. But it is a 50 weight, I do know that, and it's a low lint, which helps dramatically with tension. But I generally use Aurifil 50 weight. It's fantabulous for all your quilting needs. I am using a beige color to help show up on this practice sandwich, which brings me to the next thing that you'll need is a practice sandwich. This particular practice sandwich is just a couple of fat quarters with some batting that I used 505 spray to baste. If you're looking for some different basting methods for your quilt projects or for some sandwiches, I'll put a link in the playlist. I've got 4 different methods for you can check out there. You may want, it's not necessary, but you may want some quilting gloves. I happen to use them a lot. You'll need your walking foot, of course, and possibly either something to mark your quilt with, whether it's chalk or a disappearing marker or a fiction pen, whatever it is that you mark with. You might want some of that depending on what kind of quilting that you want to do. Which brings me to one of the differences in walking foot quilting versus a darning foot or a quilting foot. And I'll throw pictures up here above. Your walking foot it's a large contraption. It's got its own set of dog teeth, so it helps move that fabric through. Generally, you want to use a walking foot for straight lines. You can stitch in the ditch with it. You can do wide turns. Your darning foot or your quilting foot usually is the one that you want to do with more intricate, you can make sharper turns, smaller loops. I kind of think of it like large motor skills versus fine motor skills. So your walking foot will do more of your large motor skills or those wide turns, straight lines. You can even do, you can make a turn in it, just you always want to keep it wide. And this is more like your fine motor skill. So things that are more intricate, things that are smaller, or a larger turn as far as like being closer together and doing some loop-de-loops. That's basically your real difference. And a lot of people love the look of straight line quilting. I am going to demonstrate some straight line quilting. Your machine may come with a bar, and generally you can attach it possibly to your walking foot, and it will give you this, you can follow a line that is exactly the width that you would like. However, my particular model does not attach to the walking foot. They actually attach to my patchwork. If I put the presser foot on, the presser foot holder actually has a hole, and they actually in my manual discuss quilting, straight line quilting, with the bar, the quilting bar, inside that presser foot holder. I have not tried that. I don't even use my patchwork presser foot. But I know other people have, so it's not a necessary even to have your walking foot. And I know that lots of people have done similar type quilting with their 1/4 inch foot or their general presser foot. I just like the walking foot better because it helps get through all those layers. So again, I'm going to show you a few of these stitches, and that way I'm going to bring you closer into my machine. So I'll see you in just a bit. One of the things that I wanted to show you while I was really close here is when you load your walking foot, you want to make sure that the bar is sitting on top of your needle holder bar, or whatever you have out here. Take a look at your manual. But what this does is it helps those feet go up and down. So as your machine goes up and down, so does the bar, and then your feet can lift up and help move that fabric and hit those feed dogs that are actually closer to, they match up with the feed dogs that are in your machine at the same time. So you want to make sure if that bar is not sitting there to allow it to lift up and down, what you'll have is you'll be wondering why your walking foot's not working. So that's a very simple troubleshooter, making sure that bar is exactly where it needs to be. The other thing that I talked about briefly was quilting gloves. Now, I use mine a lot, and one of the things about them is on the tips here, they have like a sticky stuff, and mine need clean, just so you know. It's not your ice. It's definitely time to clean them. But that sticky stuff helps to grab your fabric better. It's not necessary, and I have seen people using other gloves, like they find them at their local hardware stores, that just so that they have grippy stuff on your fingertips. Helps amazingly if you're looking, and you can find them really inexpensive at the hardware store. I've heard people find them for $5. So just an FYI. So we're actually going to get started now that my machine is ready to go, and I'm going to set this camera up a little better, and then we'll do our first straight stitch. Okay. So just basically, if you don't want to have to hide threads, you could start off on the outside of your quilt if you have your batting and your other fabric within that. You want to go ahead and put down your needle and just basically just start sewing. Now, if you were trying to make sure you had a straight line, you can use your feet or your line of your foot to help guide you. I don't think I started very straight. Remember, I don't sew straight lines very well. Now I do have it on slow. I'm a slow quilter, just so y'all know. But basically you want to take it. This is just a basic line here. And you want to try and hold your fabric a little bit, flat. And then once you're done, at the end here, you can go past the actual fabric if you have the place to do that. And once you get past that, if you don't want to hide threads, just simply stop quilting, go ahead and cut your thread. Yeah, not too bad considering. And then you go back up. Well, I guess I'll wait. I'll be restringing that forever. All right. Again, you can start off. Now, I can simply use the edge of my foot here to quilt. Now, if you have a quilting bar, like I talked about earlier. Now, here's my patchwork foot. And here is the presser foot holder, and mine actually has a place to hold the bar. So if you have one on your walking foot, if you're able to put one in there, you can use this bar, and basically you can line up how big or how wide you want, and you would use this bar to help guide your walking foot, or if you're able to do that, or your presser foot, and keep that line exactly how far apart you'd want it, because you can adjust this bar to different lengths. Okay, and go way out. Yeah, but I don't have that, so for practice reasons, I'm going to use my presser foot, the actual walking foot, and see how well we do. Again, lower your needle and just simply follow along. I'm going to speed this up. Oh, we could be in trouble. That way y'all don't have to sit here forever and watch me. Oh boy. The other method that you could do is you could use, yeah, I'm getting off track because I'm going too fast. You could use tape, which I'll demonstrate here in a minute. You could use a marking pen. Get down to the end, go ahead and cut threads, and that too can help you. Not too bad though, not too bad. Okay, you could also do some wide lines. So again, place down your needle, hold on to your string when you get started, or onto your thread. Not sure where mine is. There it is. It might help if I put my presser foot down. And then this time, I'm just going to do a little bit of a wave here. And you just use your hands to turn the fabric. Now remember, the walking foot is designed for larger type waves, or, you know, angles, things that are much wider. And you just keep turning it through. Get down to the end. Cut your thread. Yeah, look at that. Pretty neat, right? You could actually echo that if you wanted to. Echoing means that you would follow along the exact same way. Again, you could use the distance in your foot, or a marking pen, or your quilting foot, or you can just eyeball it, but you would, echoing is just following this line exactly the same in a distance. However, you can also do an organic type, and, well, might help if I'm off the fabric. That's what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna do another one, but I'm not going to follow the line that's next to me. I'm just going to do my own kind of stuff. Just having a little fun with it. Cut your thread. Yeah, and there you could keep doing that over and over using different widths or the same width, and just have a little fun with it. I'll make a picture of this at the end so you can see all the different stitches. Now I'm going to pull you out and have you take a peek at my machine. I'm going to show you something on your machine that you can actually do with your walking foot. Okay, if you notice on my sewing machine, I have a lot of decorative stitches in here. I'm actually going to choose an easy one. You don't want to go too intricate. You want to make sure that it's a simple decorative stitch, because again, it's the walking foot. So for this demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and use number 71. So I've programmed my machine, and let's check it out and see how easy this is. Okay, this time I don't have any extra batting or fabric, so I'm just going to go ahead and start it down right here, and eventually I would have to bury those threads, which I'll have to do another short video on, I guess, huh? So I went ahead and lowered my foot. I have a hold of my thread so it doesn't go anywhere, and I've got it programmed for that stitch, so all we're gonna do is go straight down and allow the machine to do the work. And of course, I could make it go wider or thinner. I'm just kind of having a little fun here. Oh, it's busy. Guess I should have made it a little wider, huh? Okay, you get to the end. Go ahead and cut your thread. And look how cool that is. That is just nifty. And you can play with all your decorative stitches to really see whether or not you like them, and if your walking foot likes it. And you could, very simply, you could echo this. You could turn the fabric and do it in opposite direction to give yourself like a grid with wavy lines. Like I said, you can make the waves, if your machine allows it, you can widen them up and it'll go a lot faster. Sorry, I hit the camera. It'll go a lot faster for you, but if you like the smaller stitch, perfect. Now you can remember I've told you before that I don't sew very well straight lines, so I wanted to demonstrate using a piece of tape. So I'm going to pull this in underneath my machine and we're going to sew on each side of this because this was a very good thickness. If you did straight lines all along your quilt or your project in the same distance, and then you go back the other direction, going straight lines in the opposite direction using the same spacing, we call that cross hatching. So this is an easy way to do it with tape. You can also mark it with chalk or your marking pen that you like to use that will be able to remove, because of course this is quilting, so you're not going to be able to hide it per se. You'll have to use a method of marking that you can actually remove those markings and it'll stay away. So that's one of the reasons I like painter's tape. It doesn't leave residual. It doesn't hurt your fabric or your thread. So this is just one method. Like I said, I did a couple of straight lines, and so now I'm just going to do a couple of straight lines going the opposite direction using this tape. Now I've got you blown up pretty good, but the one thing I wanted you to see here really blown up is that we have an advantage with this walking foot. With that gap, you can actually line up your foot really well along this line. Now for demonstration purposes, I have not gone all the way to the edge and I'm not going all the way to the next edge. I just wanted to show you this. So I'm pulling you out here and I'm going to do my best through camera to actually quilt this. All right, let's get her started. How many times did your foot run away from you? All right, here we go. Now, if the needle happens to get onto the tape, it is not the end of the world. It will pull away from the thread that you have in there quite easily. And remember, I am not a speed sewer. Once you reach the bottom, whatever your bottom would be, again, you would cut threads, go back up to the top, line her up, same piece of tape, lower your foot, go ahead and sew. If you notice, I keep moving my hands. One of the things I had to do when I was new, and I would have to stop the needle and then reposition. You never want to be too far away and stretching yourself, and you don't want to be too wide. But the idea is that you're keeping control of your fabric. Even though the walking foot is helping you, you still want to keep control, and I try to keep it flattened at the same time. This will actually help you with practice. If you haven't done free motion quilting with a darning foot, this is a really good practice to do, so that when you start to learn how to free motion quilt, you already have those habits. come to the end, go ahead and cut your thread. And then at this point, you could just rip off the, now you can see I actually got some of the tape. That'll come out real easy. But you can see how wonderful this would, you know, with the straight lines, and you had them over and over, just would do a really neat, kind of like a checkerboard kind of thing. But then you would just place the next piece of tape down right next to this one, because that'll give you the same distance, and then sew on this side. Guess it would be better if I actually showed you. My piece of tape is getting a little crinkly here. But you would just simply lay it down right next to it, and then you would start sewing right next to this line. And this tape can be used a lot of times. I mean, you can pull it up if you're careful and not scrunch it up like I did. You can move it over and then sew the next line. Move it over and then sew the next line. It's a wonderful tool, and it will help you if you're wanting to do those cross hatchings. And last but not least, I wanted to show you, we're going to do this one more while I have you. And you can actually, yes, I'm going to go over these practice ones, but like I said, this is a practice sandwich. The idea of doing this is to have a little fun and experiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my needle, and I'm going to come down a little bit. And then I'm going to turn it. I'm going to lift my foot. The needle down function is super awesome here. If you can leave that needle down, you can turn your fabric without losing your spot. Sew some more. Lift your needle down again. Lift your foot. Turn your fabric. Go ahead and sew some more. And you could even go super crazy with this. Come back a little. Needle down again. After I stopped, you can turn it. And we can turn it again. And turn it one more time. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, I hit the camera. Gosh, I'm getting terrible at that. And then just finish off going straight back down. And you could do it again later. But the idea with this is to have fun with it if you've never done it before. There are so many really cool things that you could do. You just want to make sure that you're using those large type motor skills type of things, and not something so really tiny and intricate. It won't work to do loop-de-loops, real tiny loop-de-loops. That's where your darning foot will come better into play. So I'm going to take a picture of this, and I will throw it up there at the end so y'all can see the different stitches. And I'll see you in a second. Very easy stitches to do with your walking foot that can actually help you get that quilting done. As I'm talking, I'm throwing up a few pictures so that you can see some of that work. But yeah, really take the time with your practice sandwiches and just have a grand old time just experimenting different stitches. Use some of your decoratives on your machine, see how that works out. Some of your straight lines, some cross hatching, some experimenting with organic waves or echoing. You can completely echo around things, and usually when you echo, if you were going to echo that square type shape that I did picture right here, you follow around. Sometimes they do between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch, and you just simply follow the line right around it. And that goes for any type of echoing. It's just basically going around that line. So I hope that you found this useful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate them to put in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. I love quilting. So I hope that you take the opportunity and give it a try and see if you like it too. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And today I will be on Facebook Live again at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our Facebook page. The link is there for you. And then I will see you next week. And until then, may you continue to be healthy, inspired, productive, and joyful. And never, never stop making those dreams in quilting come true. Love y'all. See y'all soon.